Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the YouTube channel grecochess, the channel of chess. We're continuing facing the chess.com bots. In this video, we are facing Wendy. Now I'm having the black pieces. In the previous video with the white pieces, I won, but after a lot of difficulty, because Wendy had a very tricky opening. But before I begin, a little request I have for you. Have you ever tried to face the chess.com bots? How did you do? If you would like to leave in the comments your experience with the chess.com bots, which were you able to defeat, which gave you the biggest challenges, and also if you've tried the puzzles, the puzzle rush, how well have you been able to do? Just leave brief comments and we can discuss them. But now let's once again share the screen and face Wendy. And here we are. You see, Wendy is the first of the advanced bots. We completed all the beginner and intermediate bots. Let's see how well can we do the advanced. They are not going to be so easy like before. And Wendy once again starts with a bilingual greeting. Hello, bonjour. Bonjour means good day in French. And here we are. And when it starts with the pawn to e4, the theory start, and I'm going to play my favorite French. Second move d5. Till now it's theory. Knight f6. Challenging the d5 square. Bishop wants to, is pinning my knight. What can I do? I don't want to stay a pawn behind, so I'm going to take the pawn. And of course, I'm going to put my bishop here. Now, how to reply? If I'm going to reply with the bishop. I don't want to double my pawns and force Wendy to exchange bishop, so withdraw her bishop. Yes, I'm taking now with my queen. Castling. Wendy wants to exchange queens, but if she's exchanging, I don't want her knight to come out, so I'm taking my knight out. So if we exchange, my knight will take her queen and not my pawn. Oh, that's very tricky, because if I take the bishop, she's going to take my knight, excuse me, my rook, and I'm going to do something tricky. I'm going to take a queen. She'll take back with the knight, otherwise the queen down, and I'm going to take another bishop. Bingo, so I'm a piece ahead. My attack is getting cold. I need to get some more firewood. Let's exchange knights now. I'm a piece ahead. Wendy tried to trick me, but it seems it didn't work. Let's see. Develop my bishop in the long diagonal. 3 seconds. Oh, you're taking your king out too early. I could easily take the g2 pawn, but if I take it, rook goes here and it's directly to my king. No, let's not go like that. I want to exchange, or now I can take the pawn. You want to exchange rooks? I'm ahead material, so why not exchange? And I have the open D file. Wonderful. But now you don't have anything to support your rook. Yes, it points towards my king, but it's alone. Let's take the pawn on a2. Prepare for a check from d3. I'm way ahead in material. Let's attack the pawn on b2. Got it. No, I'm not giving you my bishop. Threatening once again. I'm going now to c6. Let's see, I still have back rank issues if I'm not careful, but hopefully that's not going to happen. Let's win the pawn on f2. Now I have to be careful with my bishop. Doesn't have too many squares to go. Let's put it here. a4. Yes, I have to be careful here. There is a back rank possibility, but no, it's not going to happen. You see, if I didn't face it, then the rook would go to d8 and mate, but it's not going to happen. Can we win the h pawn? Perhaps now. Not exactly. You attack the rook. You can attack it, but Wendy will take a few of my pawns. I'll take a few of Wendy's pawns. Yep. Yes, with a check. I have way more pawns than Wendy. I have to be careful. The c pawn is still loose. And I don't want to lose it. My h pawn is near promotion. Let's see how can it be stopped, if at all. If I put my rook on g1, yes, that's what I need. No, 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 because now the rook is on h1. But I'm going to put my bishop on here, on e4. And the bishop and the rook needs to go away. And I'm promoting and I'm winning. Ce n'est pas bon. I know it's not good, Wendy. Can we win the pawn on c4? Yep. So, Wendy, this is why one should not play for tricks. Wendy played for a nasty trick, but once I saw it, the game was over. Okay, now it is rook and king versus king. What? And believe it or not, I forgot about my bishop on f5 and it's a stalemate. Of course, I'm going to play again with you, Wendy. I was winning that game really, but once again I got careless. And you got away with a stalemate. That would not have happened. I'm going to play again, and there's nothing to see in game review. It's completely winning until I blundered in the end. Let's face Wendy again. A big lesson for all of us, especially for me. Let's see what can we do this time. You start with the queen's pawn. I defeated pin Wendy's knight. Let's see what can we do now because really it was very disappointing what happened with the stalemate. Wendy's taking the queen early. Okay, My bishop for free to Wendy. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I almost gave my queen. Nope. I'm down a piece. I should not exchange. No, don't exchange. We're down in material. Can we do better this time? I'm down a piece to Wendy because I blundered my bishop. And now Wendy, if Wendy plays correct, I have no chance. Let's see what's going to happen. And my pawn on B7 is... Don't want the H7 square to suffer. If I take the bishop, the file opens for the rook, and I don't want this to happen. What should I do? I don't even know what to do here. Unfortunately, don't even know what to do here. These are very bad for me. Let's cover the F7 square, F7 pawn. Don't want to exchange pieces, but what else can I do? Can I win the D4 pawn? If I win it, I lose the H7, but I cannot even win because the queen is there to defend it. Let's attack it. And a second time. And now, yes, I win it. I think so. Let's attack the bishop on D2. Can we win it? The queen leaves the diagonal. I'm attacking 3 times. I could have won the bishop. I could have won the bishop by attacking twice to defend it once. Let's go for the pawn at E5. I don't want to go for the queens. Seems a material behind. I'm saving my queen. taking one more pawn. I hate my rook being under attack, so I'm now threatening the other pawn on e5. No, Wendy saw it. Oh, wow, e7 is under danger. It's mating a couple of moves. I'm not careful. I'm going to win one more pawn here. Let's start pushing the a pawn. If bishop goes here, protected by the rook, things will be very dangerous. So my rook is going to move to, meaning there's going to be double attack. Let's protect my pawn and let's see if I can promote the a pawn. Things are not easy at all. If I can take the bishop, then I win the rook on c1. Good. Finally, I'm ahead. Not by too much. Now I have to exchange rooks, otherwise I'm losing the rook. I have to be very, very careful with the pawn. I need to check from, yes, here. We're going to win the pawn and explain you how. We're going to check from the c file. No matter where the king goes, yes, we're winning now the c pawn, and this was near promotion. Good, we got it. And now we have a lot of extra pawns. I hope we're going to win this time. And now I'm pinning, yes, I'm pinning Wendy's queen. I should win this game. And I think my pawn is too far away from the king. Brr, it's getting cold here, yes. I hope no stalemate this time. I should have seen it last time. It's inexcusable. Ce n'est pas bon. I know it's not bon. It's not good. Let's hope this time no stalemate. Let's take your last pawn. Constrain the king to his first and second rank, to the first rank. And now there is no stalemate. I'll just push my h pawn until the end. And finally, we defeated Wendy the second time. But let's explain, do we have in the history the two games against Wendy, especially the previous one? Here we are. The one that we drew, we're going to explain it here. I'm going to explain what happened. %85.3% for me, 82.4 for Wendy, 2050 each of us. Not sure how accurate are these ones. I had a great move, 7 book moves each of us, 27 versus 22, best for me. 20 versus 16, excellent for Wendy. This is the first game that ended in the draw. Four good each of us. Wendy had two inaccuracies. I had one miss, and Wendy had a blunder. But I believe that my last move was definitely a blunder. Let's see here. Books until now, yes. The last book move. Wendy pawn to c3. Good, but not the best. Castling for me the best. Wendy wants to exchange queens, and I computer wants me to exchange queens myself, but then knight goes to f3, and I help Wendy develop PPs. Instead, I'm pushing my knight to d7, and I'm developing. And that was a blunder for Wendy. It is a catchy move, it's very tricky, meaning if I take the bishop immediately, Wendy takes my rook on a8. Look at that. If I take here, then Wendy does this one. Okay, I learned how to do these orange arrows. I take the bishop and Wendy takes my rook. So that was not going to happen. Instead, first I take, this is my great move that I saw it. And now only that I'm with the bishop and I'm ahead in material. You see 4.4 all the time. Until now it is trivial, I would say. When what's happening is that computer wants to take the pawn. Material it's the best, but rook goes to g1, bishop goes away, and then white can double the rooks on g5. That's not what I want. I took now the pawn, we exchange rooks. And now I still give the g file to Wendy, but since there's no second rook, the one rook alone can do nothing. I win another pawn, little by little I'm winning everything. I'm playing best moves. My score is 5.4 for me. No much to explain, but to explain, okay. Here there's something I need to explain because here, if I did nothing, for example, if I won the h2 pawn of Wendy, Wendy sends the rook on d8 in checkmate. But that's why I moved my pawn to h6 to avoid the back rank mate. Well, of course, you may say the bishop can go to f8, but next move is mate. Now I'm just winning one more material, exchanging. Let Wendy get a few of my pawns because I'm winning the rest of the pawns. And now I was planning to put my rook on g1, but since the rook first came to h1 of Wendy, I cannot do it because I just lose my h2 pawn. So what I'm going to do is first I'm sending my rook to h4 to protect the pawn, and now the bishop will win the rook. And now it's a very much ending game, 6.8 for me. And now you see I have m19, making 19 moves if I play correctly, which I did not. m8, m18. Let's see how near I'll be. m4, m3, making 3 moves. m2, making 2 moves. m3, m2, and now here. If the bishop was not there, what you do with rook and king is I put my king to b3, white king goes to b1, and then my rook goes to h1, its mate. But I should not have done that. That is really a complete blunder out of nowhere. What I should have done, let's see what the computer says the fastest way. Rook goes to h4, and then it can go perhaps to the a file. That is the first game with Wendy, how he messed up. Let's see the second that we won, but we won not easily at all. And this is because after my unexpected stalemate at the end, I wasn't feeling very confident. Really, feelings play a big role in chess. And let's see the game that we won. And I ended up with a terrible beginning. Computer says I played 82.2, Wendy 76.7. I played as if my rating was 1850, and Wendy as if it was 1700. And let's see how, in the categories, I had one brilliant move and two great ones. Four book moves each of us. Best 29 versus 24. Excellent 31 for Wendy. 24 for me. Good 10 each of us. And in the negatives, three inaccuracies for me, two for Wendy, three mistakes for Wendy, three misses for me, and blunders. Three for Wendy and one for me. Let's start the review. Sorry, I played the wrong buttons. It was, yes, book everything here. I pin the knight. And now Wendy sends the queen to c2 to avoid the pin. Computer would rather have the pawn go to h3. Now, what could I do? I could win the the exchange on f3, and then I would double Wendy's pawn. But since the white king had not castled, I would just give the signal to white, don't castle kingside. And then use the kingside open g file to attack. Plus, I lose my bishop for a knight. That's why I'm not going to do it. Wendy wants me to develop my knight, attack the queen, exchange queens. Until now, you see things are even, ET 0.0. Wendy has a small advantage, 0.1, because computer would rather have me take the pawn on c4. Now I'm ahead 0.3. And after the 10 moves, Wendy's ahead by 0.2. The game is going even more or less. When you go c2, it's ahead by 0.1. And now I'm blundering. I wanted to do a check to develop my bishop. I forgot the knight on d3 that could win my bishop for free. And now you see Wendy's ahead by 4.3, but no time for despair. No matter how bad game is going, always try to see if we can win it. Wendy's ahead by 4.5. You'll see for many moves, Wendy will be on top. Not too much to explain that Wendy has a piece ahead and this should easily win the game. Not trying. Why did I put my rook here? Because Wendy had the option to put the knight on b5, and if I take it, I lose my queen. I wanted to avoid this option, even though that doesn't win too much. Mistake for Wendy. Wendy, for the computer wants Wendy to send bishop to g5, but even exchanging the knights would have been a good idea. Because Wendy would, I would do if I was Wendy, knight takes, and if pawn takes back, exchange queens. Otherwise, if my pawn takes back off my rook, I weaken my position. Attack the queen. 4.6 for Wendy ahead. I'm exchanging knights as if I have anything else better to do. I'm threatening the queen. I put my knight to only square that could be saved. And when Wendy pushes pawn, Wendy creates holes. So by pushing the c4 pawn to c5, just for one moment to attack my knight, creates a nice hole where I can place my knight or outpost, something they are called, on d5. This is very bad for me, 4.4 behind. I want to avoid, why they push the pawn. I want to avoid a case where Wendy can send pieces to g5 or perhaps with a knight on g5 and threaten the h7 pawn. Plus solve any potential back rank. I exchange, not good idea to exchange. The fewer the pieces, the more the extra piece means for Wendy. I'm saving my pawn. Computer says that is a mistake for Wendy. Now I'm going to win the pawn. But still, piece for a pawn, Wendy's ahead. Not while the computer gives me 1.2 credit. And now I miss a huge chance. Because I could have taken the bishop. Because attacked twice, defended once. I missed a chance. Here I had the second chance, and the result is after I miss it, Wendy's ahead by 3.8. So Wendy has a second time ahead. I saw it a little bit too late. I was trying to see what can I win. Computer wants me to win the pawn which I missed. I win the other pawn. I'm saving, yes, if I didn't play this move, and for example, I took this pawn here, queen goes to f7 check. Well, if my queen took the pawn, it's not mate next move, but I'm in a very dangerous situation. Queen has to stay in the long diagonal just to avoid the mate, which did not happen. Now I got the pawn. Now, little by little, I start pushing the pawn. I'm attacked all the time. Oh, yes, if I took the pawn, bishop cannot take it because then Wendy loses the rook. And now, yes, it's a blunder because now I have my little combination. The brilliant move, as the computer says, yes, because once I take that, I win the rook. And now I'm ahead by +1 and 0.9, not by too much. At least I'm not losing. Got another pawn. And now I have to, I'm not sure why does computer think I can better check. Now I'm ahead by 0.8. The game is for grabs. And now this is very, very tricky for Wendy, but because if I do nothing, for example, if I push my A pawn, the C pawn goes to C7 and C8. And then it promotes. If I try to stop it, we just exchange queens and Wendy's ahead by a queen. But I saw the idea. It's not easy because directly I cannot grab the 6-6 pawn, but I can check with my queen on D2 as I did. And then I'm going to check either C1 or C3, depending where the king goes. Yes. I'm checking from C3, and now I win the pawn for 3. Now, of course, I cannot exchange queens because the C pawn is going to promote. I must take the pawn. Otherwise, the game is lost. Not only that, in the pawn race, my A pawn is slower than the C pawn. So I got it. And now I'm ahead by 3 pawns. But since there are queens, there's always the chance for perpetual. I don't want another draw out of nowhere. You see what's happening now, and you'll see it later, is that white, queen, and king on the same line. So if my queen can go to b3 but supported by the pawn or anything else, we exchange queens and I'm winning. That's why I'm pushing my pawn to a4. And Wendy should not keep the queen on the third rank. Should move either the queen or the king out of the third rank. That's where the computer wants king to go to g2. Because now, no matter what happens, we exchange queens, and after that, my A pawn promotes. Course and contact change, and now my A pawn promotes. I'm going to win everything else from Wendy. And now what I want to do after I restrict the whiting on the first rank is just push the A pawn until the end. So that's it. That's it, my fellow viewers. Thanks for watching. We defeated Wendy, but with difficulty, not so easily. The first game out of a completely winning position, it's in a stalemate. And the second one, I was losing most of it until I took advantage of Wendy's errors and I won. Next, who is the next one online? It's Antonio from Paraguay. Another 1500 bots. Let's see, how can we do? With Wendy, those things were not easy at all. In the first game, uh, Wendy was even by 2.2 ahead at some point, if you remember, until I won with the white pieces. In the second with the black, I still made it the first game, and then in the second one, I was down by 4.6 at some point, but eventually ended up as winners. So Wendy's out of the game, and Antonio is the next from Paraguay. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all your viewers, subscribers, the likes and the comments. And once again, if you have faced the chess.com bots or the puzzle rush, please leave comments of how have you been able to do. This is Greco Chess. I'm your host, Harila Sanisiris, and for now, goodbye.